Higgins here. I suppose you're wondering why I'm standing in the middle of the river dressed as a clown. So do I. Watch Surprise, Surprise and find out.
Whenever I'm away from England, there are times when I long for the well-turned English phrase. For a bit of intelligent discussion about films, books, darts and jazz. That's when I sneak off to where I can get it. The British Embassy.
Your guardian, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you.
Over dinner the other evening, some friends asked me where I got the meat for the meal. When I told them it came from Tesco, they were a little surprised, but they shouldn't have been. Just listen to that crackling. You always get good crackling with a leg of pork from Tesco because the rind's never removed like it is at some butchers. I doubt their butcher has better pork than this. And as for these pork chops, they're so good. Well, anyone can grill them with orange, pan fry them with sage, or whatever. See what you're missing if you don't get your meat at Tesco?
It is straight, square, curved, circular, the precise shape of every moving part it clings to, lubricating, cooling, and protecting. Oil is too small a word for it. It is Castrol GTX liquid engineering. Fit it in your engine.
Introducing new Silver Queen with henna for girls who like their hair to shine.
Time after time.
New Silver Queen with henna for a natural shine.
Time after time. Time after time.
One of the new look Silver Queen shampoos. Silver Queen with henna.
Time after time.
The 7-day interest rate at Abbey National is up to an annual rate of 9.28% net of basic rate tax, which if you leave your interest in your 7-day account is a net effective annual rate of 9.5%. And the amount you need leave in your account to give no notice at all of withdrawals is down to just £2,500. You can get in with just £100. So, isn't it time for you to come on in?
With Abbey National.
In November, a prospectus will be issued for the sale of shares in British Telecom. To reserve your copy, ring 0272 272 272 now.
When I moved to Telford, they gave me a great place to work and some very impressive neighbours. There are stunningly modern offices here, even an enterprise zone. The M6 is just 20 minutes down this motorway, and Birmingham is only 30 miles away. But there's so much to do here, my family is always out. I know. They like to go for walks around here. Perhaps they're shopping. Wrong again. No. I know. I've been looking for you all over Telford.
Nice, isn't it?
Move your business to Telford, the growing state.
International snooker, the climax of the prestigious Jameson Open from Newcastle, begins in just a few minutes on Channel 4. Here on LWT, a new series of the South Bank Show gets underway with a look at the career of playwright Alan Bennett. That's at 10:35 tonight. This is London Weekend Television. Now the news from ITN at 10:20.
Miners' strike talks, deputies say more progress than in 7 months. Welsh holiday village evacuated as explosion puts 100 on the streets. South Africa's dissidents, the Durban 3, talk exclusively to ITN. And Mr. Woppet, helping to re-establish a brave family tradition. Good evening. Both the Coal Board and the Pit Deputies Union NACODs have agreed to ask the Conciliation Service ACAS for an urgent meeting. This follows talks at Doncaster, which the Kell Board called constructive, and which the NACOD's General Secretary, Mr. Peter McNestry, said had made more progress than in the past 7 months. A meeting is already arranged for tomorrow between the Kell Board Chairman, Mr. McGregor, and the ACAS Chairman, Mr. Lowry. There's no sign yet that the NUM will join new talks, but their General Secretary, Mr. Peter Heathfield, said today that the NACOD's plan for independent arbitration on pit closures seems to break the deadlock. But tonight, the NUM made it clear that it was still insisting on the withdrawal of the pit closure programme.
Coal Board Chairman Ian McGregor arrived to a hostile reception from members of the Pit Deputies Union. The men urged their executive to take a tough line with the Coal Board and warned them not to get involved with trying to settle the miners' dispute.
Look, your interests are being looked after. As far as I'm concerned, you're right down the road. I accept that. But we're not looking for for a settlement for the NUM. Remember that. There's people bringing pressure here now.
The deputies' leaders have been insisting that independent arbitration over pit closures was essential to avert their threatened strike. But after an hour and a half of talks, the two sides failed to reach agreement, and the matter now goes to ACAS.
As far as I'm concerned, if we get the unions, the board, down with ACAS, they can lock us in rooms and chuck the key away until such time that we resolve the situation, because I want to say resolve it, I don't just mean resolve it in any way, resolve it to the satisfaction of everybody.
The Coal Board will go for talks at ACAS tomorrow in the hope of finding common ground for talks with the miners' union and the deputies. But the pit deputies themselves still say that if no progress is made, they're still prepared to call an all-out strike. Mark Webster, ITN, Doncaster.
The Attorney General, Sir Michael Havers, has been accused by a Labour MP, Mr. Stuart Bell, of trying to influence the judge in the contempt case against Mr. Scargill. Sir Michael told BBC Radio that if Mr. Scargill persisted in his contempt, there may well be sequestration of NUM funds. He also said the British public enormously disliked Mr. Scargill and hated his ranting. A woman and her 3 young children, one a 2-week-old baby, have died in a house fire in Nottingham. A nephew of the dead woman was also killed when fire swept through a 3-storey council house in the Radford area of the city. Neighbours tried in vain to rescue the family, but 2 people did get out by jumping from windows. In Scunthorpe, 6 people escaped when a gas explosion wrecked 3 homes. One householder is in hospital but recovering. 6-month-old Matthew Smith was thrown out of his cot by the blast, but his mother Sharon recovered him unharmed from the rubble. And in Wales, police have evacuated the seaside village of Saundersfoot after a big explosion. They blame a fractured gas main.
The Sunday lie-in of the little seaside village of Saundersfoot was shattered just after 8 o'clock. An explosion of quite remarkable strength ripped through the V&G food store right on the seafront, flattening what was a 3-storey building. The whole village was wrapped in a cloud of smoke, and houses, shops and hotels damaged over a wide area. Gasmen had been working in the street outside from the early hours of Sunday morning, and it looks as if a gas leak caused the blast, which smashed through the shop and devastated the seafront.
Supreme Court judges in South Africa will meet tomorrow to decide the fate of the political activists who sought refuge in the British consulate in Durban. In an exclusive interview with ITN, the 3 men still inside the building have called again on Mrs. Thatcher to personally intervene in the crisis.
The 3 remaining detainees were in a defiant mood this afternoon, despite the arrest of the